It's Mazzy. This is being recorded on August 19th, 2024. Prior to my departure, the day before, I'm heading over to the United Kingdom, to London specifically. But I just remembered, because I had gotten an email from Genesis Publication, a book maker in the UK that I've been collecting their books for many years, since the George Harrison autobiography, I'm in Mine, signed by Harrison back in 1980, 81, I believe. And I've gotten all their Beatle-related books since, everything from Derek Taylor to Ravi Shankar to George Harrison, of course, to Ringo Starr to Yoko Ono, and a lot of photographers who have worked on projects, including Michael Cooper, his work, who took the cover of Sgt. Pepper, and that wonderfully designed Sgt. Pepper album by Peter Blake, as well as Astrid Kircher, of course, who photographed the Beatles, and many others. But I was reminded of this because, again, this is not me shilling it, but if you're interested in photography and art books, I see they're selling off the remaining copies of this signed book, Genesis, called Mania Days. And the reason it's appropriate for me bringing it out now, because August 19th, today, 60 years ago, the Beatles embarked on their very first full American tour. Of course, they came early in February. We're on the Ed Sullivan Show, took the train to Washington, played in D.C., and then back to New York and down to Florida for another recording for the Ed Sullivan. So they were broadcast 3 weeks in a row, even though only two of them were pretty close to being live, more or less. But this book called Mania Days, I bought, I think this came out in 2002 originally, and this is a collection by the late photographer Kurt Gunther. This is signed by his son, who holds the archive to this photographer, and he chronicles most of the Beatles' first American tour, commencing with the Beatles' first show. Starts that tour off in San Francisco, technically Daly City, California, at the Cow Palace, to a sold-out crowd of 17,000 people. Daly City is right adjacent to San Francisco, right off the 101, very close to SFO Airport, and right in there they played. Now, why I didn't go to this or any other Beatle concert is beyond me. This is literally the few days before my 10th birthday. So being 10, I remember my neighbor, who was about 4 years older than me and babysat. She was such a Beatle freak. And somehow I should have said, take me, baby. I shouldn't have said, take me, baby, when I was 10 years old. And of course, those of you who follow me know the reason why I didn't see their final concert in 1966 at Candlestick Park. So it's interesting how they started their touring in San Francisco, more or less, and ended in San Francisco. Actually, the Cow Palace is very close to Candlestick Park, where they played their last show. And the Cow Palace, I say Daly City, it's actually in a part of Daly City called Brisbane. And Wings played there. George Harrison performed there. The Republican National Convention in 1960 was there. A lot of things. It still exists. I haven't been there in many years. Saw Neil Young there with Sonic Youth opening up. But I just want to show you this book just because it's a great, interesting overview. I have copy number 149 out of 2,500 copies, as you can see there. And I'll go through a few pages here, but it shows they open up August 19th at the Cow Palace, and they go right into Las Vegas, Seattle, Vancouver, Los Angeles, Denver, Cincinnati, New York, on and on and on. And wow, they end up in New York City and then return to the United Kingdom in 1964. This is the opening spread here, and a lot of fantastic pictures. So I'm just going to flip through this and maybe say a few words, but this is just a little commemorative thing of 60 years ago, the Beatles began their first American tour. So here we go, there's an introduction here to these photographs. Look at this. There's Derek Taylor on the flight over. Derek. What a great shot, huh? I wonder if those are stewardesses going to be on my flight on Virgin Atlantic. Wow. They have some of these are artsy montages. I'm not quite sure those work, but I think they're just kind of section breaks. But it's kind of cool. Look at this, man. Juvenile delinquents waiting for the Beatles there. A lot of great stuff in this archive, man. I mean, the Beatles are arguably the most photographed celebrities, people in the world. I mean, maybe today you got someone like Taylor Swift and everyone's got a friggin' camera. But in terms of the history and the timing and everything, you know, look at that. Cool shots. I mean, these are shots you really don't see a lot unless you have this book, or I'm sure some of them have been licensed for different places. Now this I know, because this is here at Seattle. The Edgewater Hotel here in Seattle, you could at the time, I don't know if you still can, what's now the gift shop used to be the bait and tackle shop, and you could literally fish off out of your rooms. If you've ever heard the Mothers of Invention, the Live in Fillmore, about the mud shark story, you need to go to the Edgewater while you're in Seattle. I take people there for drinks, and they have pictures of all rock stars, from Led Zeppelin to the Monkees to Jackson 5 to the Beatles, in the area off the lobby by the fireplace. But look at this. I mean, just great. I'm just going to go through a few things. Just great to see these great pictures of the Beatles celebrating 60 years. Can you believe it's 60 years ago? There's George with his wonderful, wonderful Rickenbacker 360 V12. You know, if he hadn't been sick with the flu, that guitar was destined for John Lennon. But George is the one who really needed it. There's John with his Rick. Love this. Oh, come on. So wonderful. The great Ludwig, black and gray Ludwig kit. Come on, performance. You know, reportage photography like this, unsuited photography, you know, not everyone gets it. You have to grab the right moments, shoot a lot of film, pre-digital days, shoot a lot of film, man. Be there right when things are happening. Know your subjects. Sometimes it's just really a quickly lucky shot too. Just wonderful stuff. And of course, when you have people so as famous as the Beatles, I mean, it adds it special. You know, we're still talking about them 60 years on, right? Look at this. This is the kind of stuff I'd love. Oh, look at this, sneaking through a broken fence there. Wow. And it's time to head home. It's time to head home. We're going home to the UK, and I'm going to the UK. Thanks for watching. Mania Days. I just like looking at all these pictures of the Beatles, and I have quite an archive of different photographers. And if you do order that book from Genesis, tell them Mazzy sent you. I'll put a link below to that book. There's some copies left. I think there's down to 50 copies or something, because it has been 24 years. And they're not cheap books, but it's a wonderful archive. I am not shilling for them. I just am a fan and a collector, and have been buying their books for, boy, 40 years, 40 plus years now. So thanks for watching. Mazzy loves you. Take care.